In the olden days, the rector of this church had a very short commute. You can still see the doorway in the kitchen off the narthex. Once a direct passage from the old rectory, now the pub next door, into this building. Just a quick dash from home to the sacristy. These days, the journey is a bit longer. The current rectory is about a 10 or 12-minute walk from the church, depending on how fast you go. It's no longer just through the wall. It's a commute. And most of the time, I'm grateful for that distance. There's something good about the walk. It gives me time to prepare, to process. And I often use that time to think through a homily, anticipate a meeting, or reflect on what just happened on the way home. In other words, I talk to myself. I suspect most people do that. It's how we make sense of things. Psychologists call this inner speech. It's the internal dialogue that helps us organize thoughts, regulate emotions, and plan actions. Unlike simple thinking, inner speech mimics real conversation. It has tone, rhythm, and direction. It's not just background noise. It's how we narrate our lives to ourselves, often without realizing we're doing it. And today's gospel gives us a kind of transcript of that. A man faced with a practical dilemma, too much produce and nowhere to store it, talks it through in his head. And he arrives at a solution: build bigger barns. And then, reassured by his own logic, he speaks comfort to his soul. That should cover it, he says. You're sorted. You've got enough. Relax, everything is going to be fine. It's the kind of self-talk many of us would recognize. But what happens in this story isn't something most of us experience. Someone answers back. Not the kind of answering back we do in our own minds now. This isn't just his inner thoughts turning over a new idea. The voice that speaks somehow speaks to the man from outside himself. Someone else. Someone who isn't him. One of the gifts of the parable, beyond its warning about greed, is the insight it gives into the power our own reasoning can have over us, and how limited that reasoning can be. Indeed, inner speech can be intelligent. It can be self-aware, honest, searching, and we may think that if we do it carefully enough, it will show us the truth, that we'll find clarity. But even our best inner dialogue has limits. And Christianity as a spiritual path acknowledges this. Indeed, it is built around this realization. Salvation does not come from within. It doesn't emerge through introspection. Christianity doesn't teach that the truth is hidden deep inside, waiting to be uncovered. It teaches that truth comes to us from outside, that we are spoken to, that something beyond what we already know or feel or fear interrupts us and saves us. Much of the gospel is about that kind of shift, away from the self and towards something beyond. Not because the self doesn't matter, not because we are unworthy of good things, but because we are not self-contained. We are relational beings, always in relation to others and always in relation to God. And we need, not as a luxury, but as a necessity, those relationships in order to know what is true. The life of Christ calls us to live life out loud. Out loud. In conversation, in prayer, in community, in song, with others, with God. Truth is not found in isolation. It's found in listening, speaking, sharing, questioning, in stepping outside our own heads. And when we do that, when the monologue breaks open, then God might speak.